You guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School, and I want to say welcome to drboycetv.com. drboycetv.com is the home for intelligent black people. So if you are black and intelligent, then please hang out. If you're not black and intelligent, you may want to get out because this is not the place for you. I had to stop for a second, and I'm going to tell you what, I had to give a shout out to my city. How many of y'all know what city I'm from? Does anybody in here know what city I hail from, where I was born, where I was raised? I'd love to see if you can guess in the chat. In fact, while you guess it in the chat, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, please share this to your page. What's up, Gerald? What's up, GC? Hello, everybody on Instagram. Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So join us on Instagram, The Real Boyce Watkins. Where am I from? I see Chicago. And I see Kentucky. Cozy the Bear got it right. And All Financial got it perfectly right. Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky is where I'm from. Also, we are very proud as a city to say that the great Muhammad Ali comes out of our city. So you can't mess with us from the Ville. We also happen to have the #1 basketball team in the country, the Louisville Cardinals, in the city of Louisville. So these were my streets. This was my city. And, I love my city, and I want to make sure I'm repping my city and supporting good things that are happening there. So let me just tell you why I decided to talk a little bit about my city today. I wanted to talk about my city because you guys hear me a lot talk about football and sports, right? You guys hear me talk about some of the failings and the trappings and the struggles of the black community right now and how they link directly to the struggles and the failings of the black man. That you cannot, I repeat, you cannot see the resurrection of the black community if you do not see the resurrection of the black male. If the black male does not get up, then the black community will never stand up. If the black male stays on his back, then the black community will remain on its back. So ultimately, one of the things I've always talked about is when you talk about sports, and you talk about great men like a Muhammad Ali or some of these great basketball, football players that we produce in our community, I've always said that we have to dig a little deeper and explore our greatness in all arenas, all areas of life. We must be great at everything we do, not just playing a sport, dribbling a basketball, throwing a football for the entertainment of white people. Now, sports are fine. Sports are cool. I love sports. And actually, I'm going to talk to you about a sports little league team, which is one of the things that inspired me to have this conversation today. The team's called the Louisville Chargers, which are actually going to apparently the national championship or something like that. They won a regional championship in Chicago, and they're going to go to the national championship this week. And I saw this story, and I said, this is really cool. I've always loved sports. Like, I'm that guy who will turn on the TV Saturday morning and watch college football all day long. I know that my Ohio State Buckeyes are #1 in the country, and we're going to kick everybody's ass. I know that the Patriots and the Ravens are the best teams in the NFL, with actually another guy out of Louisville by the name of Lamar Jackson, who is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of all mankind. But for some reason, because he was black and he was fast, they thought he couldn't be as smart as the white boys and throw the ball as well as the white boys. But he proved them wrong, that you actually can throw. And then you can also run a 4.3, 4.4 40-yard dash, which pretty much makes you superhuman, which means that we have actually evolved what it means to be a quarterback in the NFL. All the quarterbacks are going to start looking like Lamar Jackson and Colin Kaepernick now that we've shown them that the Tom Brady model has its limitations. With that being said, the Louisville Chargers are a team that has come out of Louisville, and they're really, really good. And so when I read about their story, I was fascinated by it. And I said, okay, let me check out what these guys got going on. And I'm going to tell you, there's a part of me that has like a mixed vibe when I hear about little black boys, because you know they gotta have black boys on this football team, right? You can't have a championship football team 99 times out of 100 without black males. I mean, give me a yes or no if you understand the sheer athletic dominance that the black male possesses. Not that white guys can't play, not that Asian guys can't play, not that Latino people can't play, even though they are like rooted out of Africa. Like, so any greatness they have, you gotta, that's black too, right? But you know, brothers kind of dominate. We kind of do things that nobody else can do. There's nothing on this earth like the black athlete, and this is something that we've all known for most of our lives. People just don't talk about it because they don't want to talk about things like slave breeding, which may play some part in all of this chaos. So anyway, with that said, the Louisville Chargers are going to the national championship, and let me tell you, let me read this article to you, but let me tell you why I'm bringing this article up. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. If you're on Facebook, please share it to your page. So hit the thumbs up button right now if you haven't done this. So let me read some of this to you, and I'm gonna tell you why this article excited me. And in fact, you're probably going to be able to guess because y'all know me well enough to know what gets me going. A group of young football players from Louisville will play in the national spotlight. The Louisville Chargers earned their spot after winning a regional competition in Chicago. Quote, "We have a lot of talent here, but it doesn't get showcased, and I want to help put the city on the map." Louisville Chargers coach and vice president Julian Brown said. And just so you know, Julian, in case you're watching, Louisville's already on the map. There are people all over the country that know about Muhammad Ali. There are people all over the country that know how great our basketball is, and we even had great football teams. So Louisville's already kind of out there. You've had some great athletes come out of Louisville, but it is good to represent your city. We're not the first ones to do these things. This has been done before. The elders took care of us back in the 50s, 40s, 30s, and 20s. In fact, the greatest. Did y'all know? Did any of y'all even know that the greatest jockeys in the history of the Kentucky Derby were black? Did y'all know this? Did y'all know that the Kentucky Derby used to be dominated by black jockeys so bad, so much that they literally started sabotaging the process so that black jockeys couldn't compete anymore? Did y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? Give me a yes or no if you knew about the dominance of black jockeys. I mean, we even dominate in jockeying, and that just tells you the power of black people. Like, we are the original, man. We are extraordinary people. Like, let's just be clear about that. So there's a little boy named Jahid who says, I've been playing football since I was 4. The team is made up of 10 and 11-year-old boys. The team practices 3 or 4 nights a week at DeSales High School, but they're not just, here's the part that I love, right? But they're not just learning about football. The coaches teach the boys financial literacy, nutrition, and the importance of education and respect. Quote, you cannot play here if you don't do it in the classroom. If your mom calls us and you're acting up at home, you cannot play here, Louisville Chargers president Gary Reed said. The coaches both play college football and feel it's important to teach the kids that there is life outside of sports. Quote, I have seen how it has helped some and been a crutch to others, Reed said. Meaning football, talking about football. Football helps some of the brothers, and sometimes it don't help the brothers. Many of you, if you live, if you've been around and seen as many things as I have, I've seen many, many great athletes at the professional level and beyond. Many of them out of my own city who put everything into sports and then became worthless to the black community. There's nothing sadder and more pathetic in my life that I've seen than a young guy who used to be in the national spotlight because of sports. And because he was good at sports, he never took the time to learn how to read. Because he was good at sports, he never took the time to learn how to manage money. Because he was good at sports, he never took the time to develop a plan B and other areas his life can go into in case the NFL or the NBA slave masters don't decide to sign him to a contract. And what happens is that when these guys can't play sports, they're stuck. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them get stuck where they can't do anything. And then what they do is those same folks that wanted to your son at the University of Michigan, who they thought your son would be ready to play for the Detroit Pistons or whatever, that those same folks will scoop up your son and drop him off in the hood and drop his raggedy ass off right in the middle of the hood that they found him from. And next thing you know, he's 35 years old and he's sitting around with a bottle in his hand, with a bunch of babies' mamas with no money in the bank, talking about how he used to be the star at such and such a high school. Oh yeah, I won the championship back. Man, I used to be the star. I used to be the man back then, man. I was the man. I'm sorry, I hate it. I don't know if have you ever seen that, like a guy that is 40 years old and it's almost like nothing has happened in his life since he was 18, because that's when he graduated from high school and that's when it was all downhill from there. Anybody ever seen that before? You ever seen a guy that it's kind of sad? It's really sad. And here's the thing, it's also sad from an infrastructure standpoint for the black community. When you have these able-bodied men that are intelligent, capable, extraordinary, disciplined, hardworking, who have become liabilities, who suddenly feel that they have no worth anymore because they can't play a damn sport, that's a weakness to the community. That's a man who's not going to be a good husband and father or a good provider. He's not going to be able to marry a woman because he's not going to be marriage material. Studies show that women want their men to be able to provide. They want their men to have a little something. They want their men to be able to bring something to the table. And a lot of guys can't bring anything to the table because they put everything on one table, put all the eggs in one basket, and that basket broke. Now you're dealing with somebody, you're talking about trying to be equally yoked, but the person you're trying to be equally yoked with ain't got no eggs. So they can't yoke nothing because they ain't got no damn eggs because they put all their eggs in a basket and the basket broke. So ultimately, that is a problem. That is a mistake that many people in our community make. And I understand it because I remember being good at sports when I was a kid. And I remember thinking, oh, one day I want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And I remember thinking that that's all I could do, because I would go to school with these teachers who didn't understand me, who would put me in those special ed classes for the kids that aren't that smart, even though I was very smart. But because I didn't behave and that white lady in class couldn't control me, she assumed that I must have some sort of learning disability. And it wasn't that I could not learn. It was that I had learned that that system was a bunch of BS and that I was actually smarter than this lady. I mean, in hindsight, I know this because I'm a professor now, but back then I didn't understand this. So I didn't go to school and take education seriously because I didn't feel that it was the place for me. I'm learning about all these white people from the past. I don't want to learn about that. I don't want to learn about George Washington. Teach these kids about Marcus Garvey. Seriously, why? I don't want to learn about Benjamin Franklin. I want to learn about Dr. Claude Anderson, right? I don't want to learn about what happened in Europe over the last 500 years. I want to learn what happened in ancient Africa. I need to know about Kemet and Kush and when we were kings and queens and all the great things our people did for the 30,000 years before we became slaves in America. I don't just want to learn about Martin Luther King. I don't just want to learn about Abraham Lincoln. I don't just want to learn about the Civil Rights Act. I don't just want to learn that the best thing I could ever be as a black man is integrated into a white society. I don't want to. That's not an education. That's an indoctrination. Right? That is not mental and brain elevation. That is actually brain degradation. That's not integration. That is disintegration of all of your potential. Juwanza Kunjufu, thank you, brother, for bringing that name up. He's one of those guys that brought it up many years ago, long before I started talking about it. So I ain't saying nothing new. I'm just saying stuff that the elders been saying for a long time. Y'all just ain't been listening because your ears been filled with toilet paper. Seriously. Cheryl Irvin at the new Alkebalon School down in Florida. I'm going to go visit your school, Cheryl. I have not forgotten that. She is down there teaching kids how to be great, teaching black men how to be men, teaching children how to be assets to their community, which is the appropriate education they should get. So going back to the Louisville